Good evening, everyone. I've been saving this story for just this theme, so welcome to the third installment of Heather's Misadventurous Youth. So, in the early aughts, before I graduated college, and my husband had just sold his business, and we decided, fuck it, we're going to do this, and we are going across country for 5 weeks. We stocked up the car, we forgot our 500 CDs, and we took off really hungover at like 4:30 in the morning one day. Market wasn't even open. I needed some beans. I just like lifted up the thing, took the beans, and put the money where the beans used to be. So we get out there, and after a few days in Wisconsin in separate bedrooms with my very conservative Wisconsin in-laws, we made our way to our first national park, which was Devil's Tower. So we're super stoked. We get there, and it was our first national park, so we didn't really know how some of the campgrounds work. Some of them take reservations, some are just like, fill out this, put your money in the envelope and drop it in. So we go and we get into the campground, and we're looking for an open campsite. And the first thing we notice when we get in is about the second campsite in, camped way in the back, is a little lonely tent with a guy wearing a yellow SpongeBob SquarePants shirt. You probably know the one that's just like yellow with like the eyeballs and the face on it. And he's got like this crazy curly hair out to here. Or like, oh, look at that dude. So we get our campsite set up and we go check out Devil's Tower. We get busted for not paying our $20 to camp in the campsite because we didn't know how it worked. We're like, oh, okay, here's our $20. And then we meet this guy in the SpongeBob shirt. It turns out that his name was Bill, and he also was from Pennsylvania, and he went to a college in Bethlehem where he roomed in college with my husband's best friend from high school. Small fucking world. So we get there, and you know how when you're camping, there's always those people in the campground. You know those people. They're making too much noise. They're, just dicking around and generally being assholes. Well, that night, it turned out to be us because we were like, holy shit, it's Bill that we never met, but we know you. And so we get a couple beers, and we're drinking, and we're smoking. He's always like, hey, do you guys smoke pot? I'm like, hey, we were going to ask you if you smoke pot. So we sit with our little camp light, and we eat our little, MRE meals, and we're talking to him, and we're like, oh, it's late, we're being loud. Shit. We should probably walk out into the park. So we get on the road, and we start walking out, and we get to the park, the main road going into the park, and we're like, okay, this is far enough because the gate's closed. Let's just lay here in the middle of the road. It was extremely hot laying in the middle of the road, but it felt good. So we're laying there, and we're like discussing how you can see the Milky Way swirls, and how there's a car that can run on water. All that stupid stoner shit. So we're there, and then we hear it. We hear, what the fuck was that? We hear it like a dozen more times before it finally dawns on us that, oh, it must be the elk. But we're still pretty freaked out by this time. So, we're hearing the elk call. We're like, okay, we're stupid. We should go back into the campground now. We'll just try to be really quiet. So we're sneaking back into the campground, and then we get past where the dumpster is, and we hear this huge crash, and we're like, oh, this crash scared the shit out of us, and we went running, and then we're like, wait, what was it? And we go back, and we realize it was a raccoon in the dumpster, of course. So again, we're stupid 25-year-old drunk stone kids in our first national park. So we get back to our table and at our campsite, and we're just drinking beer, and we're trying very hard to be very quiet, and we've got our lantern on, and we're playing cards, and we're just talking. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this little light starts bobbing in. We're like, what is that? Do you guys see that? And he comes walking right up to us because, of course, we're the only people awake in the campground that night because we're those people at 2 a.m. And this guy rolls in. He's like, hey, dudes, have you seen my friends? We're like, we haven't seen anybody. So he's like, oh, I'm supposed to meet them here to climb the mountain tomorrow. We got to start at like 4 a.m. And I thought they'd still be awake. We're supposed to wake up. And we're like, oh, you're climbing it. That's so awesome. Oh, you're so cool. And we loaded them up with granola bars and fruit leather. And he's like, oh, I got something for you guys. I brought them for my friends, but I can't find them, so I'll just give them to you and I'll sleep in my car. And he walked away for 20 minutes and he came wandering back and he came with 3 perfectly chilled gourmet desserts. 1 peanut butter pie, 1 grasshopper pie, and 1 Oreo cheesecake. And I swear to Christ, he laid these down on the table and popped them open, and each one of us went, oh, my favorite! And I reached for the Oreo pie. My husband reached for the peanut butter pie, and SpongeBob Bill, reached for the grasshopper pie, and they were so delicious, and he wandered off into the night to climb Devil's Tower, and we never saw him again, and that's how the legend of the Stoner Fairy of Devil's Tower was born. Thank you.